Welcome to the City. I'm Anthony Wilson, the Public Information Officer for the City of San Angelo. And joining us today is one of our officers from the San Angelo Police Department, Erica Morris, who works in our DREAM program. Erica, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, first of all, the DREAM program. What does DREAM stand for?
DREAM is an acronym, and it stands for Drug Resistance Education and Mentoring.
And what is the DREAM program?
The DREAM program is our own program, kind of the same basis as D.R.E.A.M, what D.R.E.A.M used to be back in the day, where we go over the drug resistance, tobacco resistance, alcohol resistance, but we also have the added counterpart where we can talk about things that are facing our fifth graders every day, like self-esteem, choices and consequences, peer pressure, bullying, internet safety. So we can kind of bring in our own lessons and topics to cover with them as well, and counterpart that with the drug resistance, tobacco resistance, and alcohol resistance, and kind of put it all together as one program.
So obviously the police department must have felt, and the school district I'm sure as well, must have felt that there was a need to expand beyond the alcohol and drug resistance.
Yes, I think it was about 4 years ago before I started in DREAM. We switched over because, you know, D.R.E.A.M, it was a very nationally organized, funded program, and it was kind of restrictive as far as the curriculum and what we could teach, as to where with our own program, if there's something specifically affecting our fifth graders, like if we see a rise in K2 or something like that, we can pull in, present a lesson plan, create a lesson plan, and teach that to them. Whereas D.R.E.A.M, we had to stick to the curriculum.
So how was the curriculum for DREAM developed? Is it something that the school district built, or is it something the PD built, or the two of you in concert together?
It wasn't me. It was actually Officer Kathy DeLauder. She was one of our officers that was instrumental kind of implementing that and putting them together. And they kind of looked at some of the D.R.E.A.M things when they got their ideas. It was kind of like, okay, how do they present this information or this lesson or this topic? And then activities, because like a lot of the lessons have activities that go with the lessons and worksheets. So they kind of pulled ideas from that as well.
And does the curriculum evolve? I mean, as you may see some issues that youngsters are having to confront, that may be a new issue, do you sort of massage the curriculum to address those sort of issues?
Yes, we do research. We'll go online and do research and pull from news outlets that we see things as cases of different things are reported. We can do research. We research all the current laws, are up to date on those for the legal update, and then we can put them in that lesson and bring it to the kids and say, okay, well, it's been reported that you guys are doing this, or you've tried this, or it's happening, and then let them know what it's going to do to them.
So talk a little bit about the issues beyond the drug resistance and the alcohol resistance that you are dealing with now, and how you see those issues manifesting themselves among our youngsters.
Really what we see now is the bullying, a lot of the internet stuff, you know, because nowadays we have so much technology, and I feel like our students are kind of bombarded with it because they have so much coming in from so many different directions, so to speak. They've got their cell phones, and it's not just a computer anymore, it's tablets and cell phones and texting and all these social networking sites that they get on. And we see the bullying happening. We'll see bullying that'll start online, maybe on Facebook or something like that, and then it spills over into school the next day. And so it's just kind of all facets. You know, back when I was in school, the worst thing you had to worry about was a fight on the playground or a fight after school, being physically threatened, whereas now they have that aspect, plus they also have the virtual aspect online. So it's very full circle, pretty much.
Can you give us sort of a real world example of a specific issue that you've dealt with a specific student to give people an idea of what you're dealing with in the classrooms?
Definitely. I had a fifth grader last year come up to me and tell me, well, a lot of them actually had gotten in trouble, but a fifth grader tell me that she had been bullied on Facebook, and some girls had basically made a slam video about her and posted it to her social webpage. And then the girls even went further and enlisted some of the other boys in fifth grade, some of her classmates, that when they were all coming out of the cafeteria to start a fight, they were going to push the bullies into the victim so they could start that physical fight. So it turned into a big, big deal.
When you're dealing with these issues with youngsters, do they seem more receptive of receiving information about this from a police officer than they would a teacher?
I think so, because a lot of times they're not thinking about the legal ramifications and consequences that can come with it. A lot of times when in DREAM we explain to the students, we talk to them about what criminal mischief is, what an assault is, what disorderly conduct is. And a lot of times when we tell them, hey, you're 10 now, and in the eyes of the state of Texas, you can go to jail if you break the law, and their jaws hit the floor because they don't realize it. It's like, I don't think they realize that they can be held accountable even at that age. So it's shocking to them.
So why is fifth grade the best time to address these issues with children?
I think it's great because I think fifth grade's a good transition period. It's right before they transition into their middle school career. And they might have already faced some issues at that point, but I think it gets opened up to a lot more issues as they progress further in school. So it's a great point, I think, to talk to them and catch them before they transition to middle school, because we want to give them the tools to where they can fall back on if they're in one of those situations, or if they're in a couple of those situations. We want to tell them how to say no in a peer pressure situation. We want to show them what the drugs look like in a book and tell them this is what they will do to your body. So that way, if they're ever offered it, which is not what we want, but if they are, they can fall back on their training and say, whoa, wait a minute, I remember this drug, we talked about it in DREAM, and I know what that'll do to my body. So that's why we want to give them those tools.
I know one of the issues that you're really passionate about is bullying, and in fact, as we're filming this, on Saturday you had your first anti-bullying run. Yes. Talk about what you're doing in order to combat the bullying issue.
With the bullying, we're just trying to raise awareness in the schools and the community. Yes, that was our first anti-bullying walk-run event this year. We look to make that an annual event every year. We also want to get training. We had a training with our bus drivers before school started. We had a little bully training course that we did for them. We do hold random training at Region 15 for a lot of the area schools and teachers sometimes. So we just want to raise the awareness and get the education out there about it and what the laws are as far as the education code, what the bully laws are on the books and stuff. So
why do you think that's become such a big issue in our schools and among our youngsters?
I think it's more, it's more known about now, but there's also so much more of it going on because there's so many ways to do it now. And so I think that's why everyone's like, oh, well, the awareness is just raised, which it has nationally. But I also think the opportunities and the ways a person can bully have also increased tenfold as well. And a lot of times they can even do it anonymously. So I think it's out there and it's more awareness, but it's also more avenues to do it by.
And it's not a minor issue either. I mean, talk about some of the tragic outcomes that can result from a bullying situation.
Yes, I mean, when we try to watch the local news, like Huffington Post, some of those sites that are kind of like Associated Press, updated regularly, and there was a story, I believe it was out of Pennsylvania, of a girl, I think she was 12, and she was habitually bullied, cyberbullied, and she went to an abandoned warehouse and jumped off the building and killed herself. And that to me is like, we never want something like that to happen in San Angelo, but we don't want to stick our heads in the sands and go, oh, well, that can't happen here because this is San Angelo. We don't want to be naive to it, so we want to be proactive instead of reactive.
What can we as parents do to help our children combat issues of bullying and peer pressure as well?
I think the main thing is talk to your kids. Talk to your kids every day. Ask them how their day was, not just the blanket. If they're like, oh, it was okay, well, maybe try to push them a little more and find out more what's going on. Because I always tell my students and my kids too, I'm not at school with you all day. I don't know what happened in the classroom or in the hallway. And unless you tell me, I won't know because I can't read your mind. So I think a lot of times they think, well, we just already know what's going on, and they don't realize we don't unless they come bring it to us because we're not there. So mainly get on their level, talk to them, know who their friends are. If they're having trouble with the student, I encourage parents to get involved as well. Go up to the school, bring attention to it, talk to the principal, inform the principals, because a lot of times the students don't tell anyone. And then if they do, they might tell a teacher, but it may not make it to the office to the principal. So definitely follow up is a big one.
When should parents begin talking to their children about these issues of alcohol and drug abuse and bullying and even sex?
I would think no later than 5th grade because their bodies are about to start changing and going through all the preteen, teenager stuff. And I think that's a great time. They get a little bit of the things about their body changing and stuff in 5th grade, but I think it's a great jumping off point. So I'd say no later than 5th grade, definitely talk to them about it.
And do you have suggestions about how parents can initiate those conversations?
They can always, we have tons of material at our office. We have drug books, we have little brochures on all the different drugs. They can come by, it's free, they can come pick them up from us. It'll kind of start a dialogue. they can ask them what they've heard at school. What have maybe you heard from your friends or peers about this issue? And then they can find out maybe if the students have got some bad information at school from friends. So just kind of get on their level and bring it up and kind of start that conversation, because they need to know that it's okay to talk to you about it, because a lot of the kids feel like, oh, I can't talk to my parents about that, you know. So if they feel like you're approachable, that's the main thing.
You mentioned about coming by your office and picking up some literature. Where can people do that?
We're at 505 South Chadburn in the old DPS building. We're about a block from the Love Municipal Pool, and they can come by. We can get them materials. If we don't have them, we can order them and get them for them. So, and we'd be willing to, you know, we do presentations for groups, churches, mom groups. We'll do presentations for teachers, anything they need.
How many children do you reach each year, and is it all of the fifth graders in the San Angelo Independent School District?
Yes, we teach all the fifth graders in SAISD and even some of the private schools we're at. Just in SAISD, we teach total 1,200 fifth graders per year. So that's 300 fifth graders per DREAM officer per semester. We have a fall session and then we have a spring session.
I see. And so there are 2 DREAM officers?
Yes, there are 2 of us, myself and Officer Hernandez. He's our newest DREAM officer, and right now he's teaching 18 DREAM classes a week, and I'm doing 16 a week. So we're busy.
So how often does a fifth grader see their DREAM officer in their classroom?
Every week for an hour, and then a lot of times we will just go to the schools randomly. If we don't have anything else going on, we'll go stop by, poke our head in, talk to the principal, see how they're doing. If there's a specific student that we're kind of giving a little more extra attention, or maybe they're having issues with something, we'll check on them to see how they're doing.
And if people want more information about the DREAM program, how can they get in contact with you very easily, or where can they go?
We do have our own, myself and Officer Hernandez, we have our own Facebook pages now. It's under Officer Rodrigo Hernandez and Officer Erica Morris. You can get to us from the PD Facebook page. We also have emails, and we have phone numbers. My email is erica.morris@sanangelopolice.org, and his is rodrigo.hernandez@sanangelopolice.org. And then my phone number is 481-2772.
And your office again is?
505 South Chadburn.
We've been talking with Officer Erica Morris. We'll be back in a moment to talk with one of the officials from our WIC program. But first, we're going to spotlight another outstanding city employee.
My name is Brian Groves. I'm the multimedia coordinator, and I've been with the city for 5 years. What I do for the city is I do all the videoing, I do some of the photography, and we handle the website. So we do about 15 board meetings a month, and we also do the commercials and press conferences. Pretty much anything that needs to be filmed, we go out and film it and cover it. It's a fun job. I never thought I'd be in local government. My wife found this job when I got out of college, and it is different every day. We go from filming a city council meeting to covering an event at the pool to filming Sesame Street at the Coliseum. It's never dull, and there's always something different, and there's always all these different ideas. We have so many departments. The possibilities are endless with what we can do. It's fun. My job is also my hobby. I love videoing. My brain does not shut off. I can't watch TV or movies without thinking how they did the shot, how I could do that, how we could put it into what we do. And so I get to do what I love all day long, whether it's outside filming something or inside the office editing. It's the best job in the world. The most challenging thing about my job is probably trying to cram all of the information that departments need in a short enough video where people will watch it. A lot of times all of the topics that we have are so big and so large that it's hard to cram them into a 3 to 5 minute video that people are going to stick around and watch the whole time. And so it's trying to find that balance of the pertinent information that needs to be in there, and also that's going to keep the audience's attention for the entire time and get the point across for the department that we're doing the video for. Our staff is awesome. One of my favorite things that we do now are employee spotlights, because we get to highlight the people in the organization who are just awesome people. They're awesome inside their jobs, they're good at what they do, and then they have such interesting lives outside. And so that's been one of my goals the past few years, is to try to show the people that are in the organization to the city and show, hey, these are real people. They're great at what they do, and they have such amazing lives, and they're such amazing people, and just trying to educate people about these jobs that they have no clue, might not know what they do, and just trying to show, hey, this is a guy that was in a water ditch at 5 a.m. in the morning, and this person is doing maps that contractors use for planning and zoning. And so just trying to help educate people about the people that are making San Angelo a better place for them. It's great. It's our first year. It's been our most successful year. we won a couple awards at TAMIO, which is for the public information officers, and then we just won 6 awards at the TOA, which is for basically municipal programmers. And to be recognized by our peers for what we do is awesome. You know, it makes us, you know, hopefully the citizens like what we do and they're learning. But then we also get recognized by our peers, and it's like, hey, you're doing a good job from all these other cities in Texas. And so to be on the same level or close to the top level in Texas on some of this stuff is great. And it's great for San Angelo. It really highlights the stuff that we're doing here in San Angelo. I measure success by, you know, if the public is learning or if they're informed. We're the public information office. If the public doesn't know anything, then we're not doing our job. And so we have to make sure that whether it's through SATV or whether it's through social media or the website or press releases, we try to make sure that the citizens know what's going on in the city, whether there's changes to water restrictions or whether certain offices are winning awards or Texas Municipal League awards. We want to highlight everything about the city and educate people. And so that's how I would measure it. Most people are pretty surprised when I tell them I film 15 board meetings a month. And that, you know, they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you do that. And yeah, I guess it does sound kind of boring, but at the same time, our office, we're here filming these meetings, we're seeing all the different levels of the city. We know what's going on from zoning all the way to Public Art Commission, to Planning Commission, to the City Council. And so we watch some items work their way up to City Council. And so we have a good idea of what all is going on. And so I think that would surprise them that we're filming all these meetings every month. I video in my spare time. You know, and I'm driving, I'm looking all around, I'm like, oh, that's a cool place to shoot, and that's a cool place to shoot, and oh, that would be really neat, and you know, your brain just doesn't shut off. And so I video all the time. Also, I have an 18-month-old daughter and my wife, Lacey, and family's a big deal. We hang out. You know, she's our world right now, our girl, and we're also very involved in our church and lead worship at our church. And so it's a fun time. It's busy, but it's fun. I love being out filming something. Or if you know, we filmed a bunch of stuff, and I love trying to put a project together and just being immersed in the project and the computer. And yeah, that's a good day at work. A good day away from work is spending time with my family. We have such a good time with our daughter Aubrey, and it's an adventure. She just started running, so it's hard to keep up, but that's great. You know, videoing, going and doing some side projects is always fun. Or watching movies. I'm obsessed with movies because it's, you know, part of video work is part of that profession. So I'm always watching something to try to better what we do and look for different ways to do it.
Welcome back. We are joined now by Natalie Arnold. Natalie is the Nutrition Education Coordinator in our WIC program. She's also a registered dietitian, and she's here to tell us about WIC. Natalie, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
First of all, what does WIC stand for, and what sort of services does it provide?
WIC stands for Women, Infants, and Children, and we serve women that are pregnant or just had a baby, infants, and kids up to 5 years old.
And in serving them, what sort of services do you provide?
We provide nutrition screening and nutrition counseling, and also nutritious foods.
And is there a cost involved for being involved in WIC's programs?
There is no cost or charge for our participants.
Is there a eligibility requirement?
There is. Primarily, it's income. We say, for instance, a family of 4 has to make a certain amount of money per month. And we base it off that, but I need to emphasize it's not just income that qualifies a family. We have to do a screening and also provide a nutrition risk factor. And what I mean by that is, say for instance, a pregnant mom has anemia or gestational diabetes, or she's underweight or overweight, then she's considered at risk. Or if her child, typically infants and children grow so fast, they use up their nutrients really quickly, and then they can become low in something, and then they become at risk.
So how many clients are you serving now in the WIC program here in San Angelo?
We serve San Angelo, Tom Green County, and then the 6 surrounding counties. We acquire our data through the food packages that we issue. So right now we're issuing about 4,000 food packages per month for all 7 counties.
What is a food package?
A food package, it's just a term that we use for the type of foods that we load onto their card, their WIC card. And it's the only types of foods they can get. And these foods are specifically nutrient dense to support growth for baby or a pregnant mom supporting baby, or for the kid up to 5 years old.
Well, explain what a WIC card is and how that is used.
The WIC card, it's also called the WIC Smart Card. It works kind of like an EBT card that they can go to the store and swipe it, just like a debit card or a food stamp card. And we load via satellite specific types of foods that those are the only foods that they can get. For example, whole grain breads, fruit juice, fresh or frozen fruit or vegetables, peanut butter, canned tuna, milk, cheese, eggs, and also foods for babies and formula as well. And also if they're on a special diet like gluten-free or kosher, we also offer foods to help with that too.
Now, getting back to what WIC is and who you are, how is WIC funded?
WIC's funded by the USDA, or the Department of Agriculture, and it's available in all 50 states and the U.S. territories. And there's no local tax money that goes into it. It's considered a discretionary program, meaning that they vote on it yearly to keep it and how much is in the budget.
Why is WIC administered by the city? You mentioned it's a USDA program. Does the USDA contract with the city in order to provide the service or manage the service?
It does. I think it depends on state to state, but here we go through the city.
As I mentioned, you're a registered dietitian. Talk a little bit about why nutrition and nutrition education is so important for expectant mothers, young mothers, and children.
Well, they need to know the right kind of foods for growth and development. Say, for instance, if a mom is deficient in folic acid, and she's not getting that through her diet or through vitamins, her baby might develop spina bifida or an open spine, and that baby might have a disability the rest of their life. Or if a child is what we call anemic, meaning low iron in their blood, that can end up stunning their growth and their learning and affect them long term.
Well, and some of those problems that you're talking about, those can be just addressed simply by eating the right things in the right amount.
Simply by nutrition. A lot of people are deficient in something, deficient meaning low in some kind of nutrient, either because they just can't afford to get the right food or they just don't know to eat the right kind of food. So that's where WIC comes in to provide that education and then also the right kind of food.
When you talk about the education, WIC offers a number of nutrition education classes. Talk about those and what you teach in those classes.
Yes, we offer a general class, just a general topic that anybody can come to. It's also offered in Spanish since part of our population is Spanish speaking. We also offer a class specifically for infant health and nutrition, one for child health and nutrition, one for pregnant moms and their health, and then also support classes for breastfeeding moms.
And how often are those classes offered?
Well, they're every month, but typically they would come in every 3 months to do a class.
And is the class last for an hour once a month?
Maybe not an hour. It would be at the most 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depending on the type of class and the participants. But we offer classes every day. We also offer group classes, but online classes are becoming very popular because you can do it on your own time, your own schedule. Some moms don't have reliable transportation, so it's easier for them to do that instead of coming to the building.
And how do you know that they've actually taken the course if it's an online class?
If it's online, they have to bring in a confirmation number. And they bring that in to us at the building for proof, and then we'll accept that and then reload their card.
So in order to have their card loaded, then they have to undergo these classes in order to gain the education necessary to make the right decisions at the grocery store.
Exactly. Yeah.
I see. So what's involved with taking a class? How does one begin taking a class?
Well, they can come to the building to participate in a group class, or they can go online to texaswic.org and just go from there. And or there's also self-paced classes, self-paced if those options don't work. There's also a DVD for kids to aim towards activity, and they just come in and they do it about every 3 months. It's very laid back, and they just kind of interact either with others or with the computer. If they're doing it online, then they come in, reload their card. It's very simple.
I know one of the things that WIC stresses is breastfeeding. Why is that such a point of emphasis in your program?
Yes. Well, medical studies are continually showing that human milk for human babies just does phenomenal things for their health and their development. Human milk has live cells in it, which can help a baby jumpstart their immune system and just stay stronger and ward off disease better than formula-fed babies. So we are behind that 100%, and we offer all kinds of support for moms to do that, such as support groups, one-on-one counseling with a peer counselor, breast pumps and help with that. And also we have a 24/7 on-call number they can call anytime if they're struggling.
What are some of the issues that result in women not breastfeeding, and how do you overcome those?
Well, typically what we tell moms is if, breastfed babies tend to get sick a lot less often. They don't have as many ear infections. They go to the doctor a lot less often. They're just happier babies. With formula, you have to prepare it. You have to lug it around if you're traveling. You have to clean bottles and things like that. With breastfeeding, you don't have to.
Now, WIC also has some health clinics. Talk about the services that are provided in your health clinics.
Well, WIC's not really considered a health clinic, so meaning we don't do shots, we don't treat illnesses. We're considered a preventative health program by offering nutrition screening and counseling and then nutritious foods. But we do referrals for other health-related issues.
Well, and talk about that. How does WIC work with other agencies and refer? What sort of agencies do you refer to for health and social services?
Right. We issue to everything all the time, but we base it on the participants' needs and what they share with us. So it could be to a pediatrician for shots or just regular checkups, to early childhood intervention if they feel their child is not up to par developmentally, if they're not talking right or walking right. We refer to Medicaid, La Clinica Esperanza, just a variety of organizations.
How do you measure your success in WIC?
Well, I guess participation rates primarily. We have to just look at the stats, but also to just because we see these babies grow up and we see how they're doing, and because these moms are with us long term, and we kind of get rewarded that way in seeing how these babies have grown. And just and also too, we run into moms at the store and say that I'm so thankful for WIC and y'all have taught me so much. So we gauge it on that we're really making a difference.
Now, if someone wants to come by and visit with you and try to make use of your services, where are you located and what are your hours?
Okay, our hours are from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., but we're closed on the lunch hour. We're open from Monday through Thursday, but we're also open on the second Saturday of every month from 8 to 12. We're located at 52 West College Avenue, right across from City Hall. And we're in the Development Service Building, which is also known as the old library building. And
are appointments necessary?
We really encourage our participants to make appointments. It's just easier for them, but we do walk-ins if we need to.
And again, if people want more information about your services, where can they go to get that?
They can call us at 657-4396. We're also available on the City of San Angelo's Facebook page, and also on the city's website, cosatx.us, under city departments.
We've been talking with Natalie Arnold of our WIC program, and we'll hope you'll join us for the next episode of The City.